Imagine digging through your change jar, flipping a coin into your hand, and suddenly realizing that what looks like an ordinary dollar coin could actually be worth thousands of dollars, or in some cases, even tens of thousands. That's the magic behind the 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar, one of the most misunderstood yet surprisingly valuable coins in U.S. history. Today, we're going deep into why this coin matters, how to identify rare errors, and how much collectors are actually paying for them. The Susan B. Anthony dollar was first introduced in 1979 as a replacement for the Eisenhower dollar. The U.S. Mint wanted a smaller, lighter dollar coin that would be easier to carry and cheaper to produce. It was named after Susan B. Anthony, the iconic women's rights activist, making it the very first circulating U.S. coin to feature a real woman instead of Lady Liberty or a symbolic figure. That alone gives it historic importance. But here's the twist: when the coin first came out, it was heavily criticized. Most people complained that it looked too much like a quarter. The size, the color, and even the reeded edge were similar to 25-cent pieces, which caused massive confusion in everyday transactions. Many cashiers and customers rejected them, and circulation was limited. That unpopularity ironically ended up making certain varieties of the 1979 SBA dollar much more collectible today. Now, let's talk about values, because this is where things get exciting. Most circulated 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollars are still worth face value, just $1. You could find them in pocket change or bankrolls, and they might not seem special. But certain versions, especially proofs, errors, and rare mint mark varieties, can skyrocket in value. The most famous and valuable of these is the 1979 P wide rim, or near-date dollar. On normal 1979 P dollars, the rim spacing is narrower, and the date looks slightly farther away from the edge. But on the wide rim version, the date is much closer to the edge of the coin, and the border looks thicker. This variety was only produced briefly at the Philadelphia Mint before changes were made, and collectors today are willing to pay big money for it. In mint state condition, these coins can fetch $500 to $1,000, and in ultra-high grades, they've sold for over $6,000 at auctions. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that most people ignore, but it could secretly be worth thousands. Another hot collectible is the 1979 S-proof dollar, especially those with the Type 2 mint mark. Proof coins were struck in San Francisco with a special polished finish, designed for collectors rather than circulation. The Type 1 mint mark looks more like a blob-like S, while the Type 2 has a clear, sharp, well-defined S. The Type 2 version is much scarcer and can sell for $200 to $500 or more, depending on the grade. But wait, it gets even better. Error coins from 1979 can be worth huge money, sometimes even into the five-figure range. For example, off-center strikes, double strikes, and coins struck on the wrong planchet, like a nickel or quarter blank, are extremely rare and valuable. Some have sold for over $10,000 at major coin auctions. So what should you look for if you have one of these coins at home? First, check the mint mark below the eagle on the reverse. The letter will tell you where the coin was made. P equals Philadelphia, no mint mark shown. D equals Denver. S equals San Francisco, mostly proofs. Then, examine the date and rim spacing. If you see the wide rim variety, you've struck collector gold. Finally, inspect the coin for unusual features, double lettering, weak strikes, or anything that looks out of the ordinary. Collectors are especially picky about condition. A 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar in average circulated condition might only be worth $1 or $2. But if it's in mint state 65 or higher, the value climbs dramatically. That's why grading is so important. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC can certify your coin, and a high-grade label can multiply its worth many times over. Let me give you some real auction results to show how high these coins can go. A 1979 P wide rim dollar graded MS67 sold for $6,463 at heritage auctions. A 1979 S-type 2 proof dollar in PR70 deep cameo went for over $15,000. Rare error coins, like a 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar struck on a copper planchet, have sold for more than $12,000. These aren't just pocket change, they're life-changing amounts of money for a coin most people overlook. Beyond the price tag, though, the Susan B. Anthony dollar represents a turning point in U.S. history. It was the first step toward modern small dollar coins like the Sacagawea and presidential dollars. Even though it wasn't popular during its release, today it stands as a tribute to both women's rights and America's evolving coinage. So here's the bottom line. If you have a 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar, don't just toss it aside or spend it. Take a close look. That ordinary-looking coin could actually be one of the rare varieties worth hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of dollars. And who knows? The next time you're digging through a coin jar, you might just find a hidden treasure that most people would never notice.